Let's start this off with a bang, or whatever sound a vending machine makes to be more specific.
I'm stuck!
The first weird theory is that Homer has been in a coma since 1993. An episode was released entitled, "So It's Come to This, a Simpsons Clip Show." This episode has Homer being crushed by a vending machine, causing him to go into a coma. This episode marks somewhat of a turning point for the show. Many have noted that before this episode, many of the episodes were much more normal sitcom situations about Santa's little helper being sick, or Lisa having a crush on a teacher. After this episode, the stories changed to much more farcical and wacky, making people believe that all of these stories are happening inside the overactive imagination of Homer's head. What ties this theory together is an episode called Homer the Heretic, in which Homer has a real conversation with God himself. Homer asks what life is all about, to which God responds that he'll have to wait 6 months. This episode aired on October 8th, 1992, while the Coma episode aired on April 1st, 1993, nearly 6 months to the dot. While one of the show's producers, Al Jean, has denied this theory, its timing seems quite convenient. Homer being in a coma is very interesting. However, it has been done before. What if we told you this was not the only show-altering theory from this episode? This next theory states that Homer might know that he is in a cartoon. This theory stems from the same episode, Homer the Heretic. This conversation he has with God is filled with great Easter eggs. Besides telling Homer when he is going to die, he also tells him he is in a cartoon world. This could be another reason the show took such a turn into silliness. Knowing that no matter what he did, he would return the following week, Homer would become much more dangerous with his escapades. He would also become more apathetic to the world around him in general. Of course, he has a heart of gold. Seeing as he usually resets whatever breakthrough he has by the next episode, this theory would make things more straightforward for the audience. In season 6, Homer becomes a member of the Stonecutters after learning Abe was also a member. He is almost immediately kicked out once he destroys a priceless heirloom of the organization, or did he? This theory suggests that Bart was actually a member of the Stonecutters before Homer. The birth of this theory comes from a very suspicious response when Homer tells his family that Carl and Lenny are given special treatment at work.
A conspiracy, eh?
This sarcastic response could be because he knows exactly why Homer would think this, but that's not all. For many years, Bart has terrorized his neighbors, school, and town with pranks. Despite all of that, the most punishment he has ever received is detention, but never anything more serious. This could be because Principal Skinner is also a member of the Stonecutters, thus needing to protect Bart from any serious repercussions. We aren't done talking about Bart quite yet. This next theory is centered around Bart and the show's creator, Matt Groening. It is thought that Groening based the character of Bart on himself, which is more than likely seeing as the entire Simpsons family is based on his own. This means that Bart might even become a cartoonist and create The Simpsons later in life. This theory holds more weight when you consider that the character loves cartoons, is incredibly creative with his pranks, and clearly has an eccentric family that is conducive to a career in animation. Bart has been shown as a writer and filmmaker in the show, even winning an Academy Award for his short film Angry Dad. All of these hints line up to support this theory of Bart creating The Simpsons. A season 12 episode titled HOMR catalyzes this next theory. In this episode, Homer discovers he is foolish because of a crayon lodged in his skull. When it is removed, he becomes a genius. This made people rethink not just Homer, but the entire Simpsons family. Could they all be secret geniuses? As we just discussed, Bart has shown the capabilities of artistic genius. Marge has also shown to be able to pick up many skills in a very short amount of time. Even Maggie has shown incredible awareness for such a young age. Of course, Lisa is much more forward-facing with her genius, but she's not the only one. The theory goes that the rest of the family, like Homer, chooses a life of simplicity and ignorance rather than challenge themselves to be who they could be. At the end of the episode, Homer decides to have the crayon put back and return to his life of buffoonery. It is not the craziest idea to believe that the other family members are doing a similar thing with their gifts. A long-running gag on the show is that they never say where the town of Springfield is located. There have been many theories over the years. Some think it's Maine, while others believe it could be Indiana. Either way, the show has never confirmed this. Even the film makes a joke about it, showing the 4 border states that make zero geographical sense. This has led people to believe that Springfield exists in a place beyond time and space. Springfield being in a pocket dimension would explain much more than just the location problems. Like many sitcoms, the show is constantly reverting characters and the town to the status quo. Even when looking at the movie we mentioned earlier, Homer saved the entire town, yet it is rarely mentioned or even brought up. This can be said about nearly every single episode with all the craziness that happens. In a Treehouse of Horror episode, Homer's time-traveling adventures ruptures the timeline in an immeasurable number of ways, giving a precedent for Grandpa Abe to be a time traveler.
Even the tiniest change can alter the future in ways you can't imagine.
Abe is known to ramble on about historical facts that span centuries. This could be the ramblings of a man who has seen so much history that he forgets when exactly he is. This would also explain the precognition he possesses in the Simpsons movie, as well as many other episodes featuring him. Giving this added depth to the character would not only explain much about him, but also Homer as well. Could this be why Homer is so consequence-free in his actions? If your father were a time traveler, you would have quite a different perception of what does and doesn't matter in life. Hans Moleman can best be described as the Kenny of The Simpsons, taking fatal injuries repeatedly throughout the series. A theory says that Hans is actually multiple people throughout the show. Instead of a single person, there is a race of Moleman people who have been attempting to take over the town for decades. This outlandish theory doesn't stop them, insisting that these Moleman have lived underground this entire time, but can't get past Homer constantly killing them whenever they surface. An episode in season 11 titled Hello Gutter, Hello Fatter has Homer actually face a race of Moleman people, which supports this theory. The Simpsons, and more specifically Homer, seem to have an endless wealth supply. With only Homer working at the power plant, it seems unlikely they have been able to afford every outlandish thing. There are two major theories as to how they are so rich. The first being that Homer is still the owner of the Denver Broncos. An episode in season 8 titled You Only Move Twice has Homer being gifted the Denver Broncos. As we never see them sell the team, it could be assumed that they are still at least partial owners, allowing Homer and his family to do whatever they want. Another theory stems from Homer's old barbershop quartet, Be the Sharps. This theory says that Homer has been collecting royalties on this band this entire time, leaving him with an exorbitant amount of wealth. The idea of this becomes more real when looking at the other band members, like Barney, who has been ringing up on the same bar tab for seemingly the entire show. Either of these theories would explain how Homer and the family can afford all of their vacations, insane stunts, and of course, repairing whatever damage Homer caused that week. A show like The Simpsons, which has been running for 35 seasons, is sure to spawn dozens of fan theories. While the writers have answered a few, finally proving that the canyon jump can be made, for instance, there are so many that we may never get an accurate answer to. One could argue that's what makes these theories so fun. What do you think? Head over to the comments and let us know your weird theory about The Simpsons. Thank you for watching Screen Rant, and we'll see you next time.